Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a few things to cover in the absence of a midweek game for Celtic, which means it's quiet times generally, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but today we're going to discuss some injury problems. Yes, I know, everything's happy and cheery at Celtic at the minute, and I'm here to talk about the negatives. This is why you're subscribed to Ryan118. Anyway, let's talk about that. Hello, welcome back. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. We're on our way to 50,000 subscribers. We're trying to get as close to it as possible by the end of this year. So if you haven't already, go down below, hit both those buttons. It's absolutely free. And if you want to become a channel member, you can check out that as well in the top line of the video description. We've got a few things to talk about today. As I said, it's generally quite quiet. It feels weird because Celtic have been so busy in recent weeks. There's been transfer windows coming to an end. There's been derbies. There's been the kick-off of Champions League football. But this week, we've got a full week off, which means I'm reaching the bottom of the barrel for content. We have to talk about Cameron Carter-Vickers, ladies and gents. I know I don't want to get into this story. I don't want to be doom and gloom and negative, but it is one of the ones dominating the headlines, dominating my comment sections in the Q&A that we done last night. People want to know what the script with the main man is. Arguably our best defender, our star centre half. He is out with an injury. We've not heard conclusive details regarding the length or severity of said injury. We'll wait for Brendan Rodgers to speak on Friday, but you may have seen many headlines like this. Cameron Carter-Vickers, a huge Celtic doubt for Borussia Dortmund. His teammate has passed fit. The key Celtic defender will be assessed later this week. One of many articles in the mainstream over the past 48 hours since our win over Falkirk. Football Scotland went on to say this, that Cameron Carter-Vickers is a huge injury doubt for the matches against St Johnstone and Borussia Dortmund. He obviously missed out the game against Falkirk and missed training last week. They have been nursing him through recent weeks. He was also missing in training in the lead up to the derby win over Rangers. Brendan Rodgers confirmed after the game on Sunday that he has a metatarsal problem. It went on to say that Vickers is to be assessed later this week ahead of a trio of fixtures before the international break, and obviously the first of that coming against St Johnstone this weekend. Brendan Rodgers, of course, commented on the matter. His comments were as follows, that Cam has been suffering a wee bit with his metatarsal below his big toe. We gave it a little period earlier on a few weeks back and he was okay. He's got a little bit sore, obviously playing back-to-back games, which is why we've given him the Falkirk game free. So we'll assess that and see how it is later in the week. So yeah, Cameron Carter-Vickers, now a huge doubt, the headline saying, for the game against Borussia Dortmund next week, and almost certainly will miss the game against St Johnstone this weekend, which of course is a massive blow for Celtic. There is no other way to dress up this situation than the negative that it is. There's no point in beating around the bush. You want players like Cameron Carter-Vickers fit for the game against Borussia Dortmund next week. But let's not get too bogged down on it yet. Brendan Rodgers yet to comment on the matter. Again, he will do that on Friday before the St Johnstone press conference, so we'll get an update whether or not he'll be fit or not in time for the Champions League game. But it's almost certain that he'll miss out that game at the weekend. It's been a very frustrating year or so for Cameron Carter-Vickers, hasn't it? He's coming down with a lot of these. And I think the more annoying thing is a lot of the injuries are little injuries, ones that are just keeping him out for a game or two here or there, and maybe little injuries that have escalated into something a bit more severe. You know, we've not seen Cameron Carter-Vickers come down with anything potentially career-ending or anything that's kept him out for 6, 7, 8 months. They've all been just a build of different injuries that have kept him out at different periods over the past year or so. So it's been frustrating for him. A lot of people asking me in the Q&A last night, has Cameron Carter-Vickers become an injury-prone player? And I guess that a lot of people will jump to that conclusion. They will say, yep, that's it, Cameron Carter-Vickers is injury-prone. And some people might even get more to the severe point where they'll start thinking about replacing him because he can't be reliable in that sense. Listen, I'm sure that when we get past this injury, we can see Cameron Carter-Vickers go through a good run. One thing we've learned about him is that he likes to play through these things, and maybe that's something that we just need to watch out for in future. Maybe him playing in those back-to-back fixtures, Rangers, and then coming back from international break and playing in the two games, the European game, maybe that was the Hearts game and everything else. Maybe it wasn't the right idea. Maybe we need to stop doing that with Cameron Carter-Vickers and maybe won't suffer more of these kind of small scale injuries. He's a warrior, he's a trooper, and I'm sure he'll come back ready to go whenever that may be. But let's not rush him back. Let's give him all the time that he needs. If he's ready to go, he's cleared to go for Tuesday against Borussia Dortmund, then fine, play him. But I think that we might need to deal with a reality where we could be seeing an Austin Trusty / Liam Scales partnership, a different American in the back four. So yeah, it's frustrating, I know. We obviously need to just play at our best in both games, not just the Dortmund game in St Johnstone as well, and hope that the minutes that Austin Trusty gained against Falkirk will do him the world of good. It'd be interesting seeing him play in a different partnership with Liam Scales, adverse to Stephen Welsh that he played at the weekend. Yeah, listen, we signed him for £6 million for a reason. We signed him for around the same fee we signed Cameron Carter-Vickers. So I'm not saying that demands Cameron Carter-Vickers level performances to start off his Celtic career right at the beginning, but let's get behind him, let's support him, and hopefully Liam Scales can carry on the great form that he's started this season, and we should be fine. Dortmund, funnily enough, lost 5-1 at the weekend to Stuttgart in the league, and yes, Stuttgart finished second in the Bundesliga last season while Dortmund finished fifth, so maybe some people weren't as stunned by this result, but they definitely have problems at the minute that we can take advantage of, just like they'll have their situations like this that they can take advantage of. There's different ways to look at the game. We'll hear what Brendan Rodgers says on Friday, but for now, it might not be looking the best for Cam. In other news though, Alistair Johnston should be fine for both games after missing out at the weekend as well. Brendan Rodgers said again he had a bit of an issue around his back. He was having an injection, of course that meant he missed the game, but he will train on Tuesday and Wednesday and will be absolutely fine. The key words there, absolutely fine for Alistair Johnston. So he should be back in Lennoxtown today. We'll see if Celtic post any photos on their social media as the day goes on, but at least Alistair Johnston should be fine, back and fit, which means a back four potentially next week in Dortmund will be Johnston, Trusty, Scales and Taylor. You would like to assume it can't be Welsh. It can't be Welsh. We obviously touched on our quarter-final success a moment ago. Well, our semi-final date and kick-off has been confirmed. It will be played on Saturday, November the 2nd, with a kick-off time of 5:30 PM at Hampden Park. So we'll get more details on tickets and such soon, whether or not Aberdeen are going to take their full allocation for once, because they're playing well, they probably will. But yeah, 5:30 PM. It's a late one at Hampden on the Saturday night. That's because Celtic will be playing the Tuesday following, I believe, so that's why we're not the Sunday, in case anybody for some reason wanted the Sunday. Hate Sunday games. But yeah, our semi-final has been confirmed. Keep an eye out on the social medias for ticket details, but I imagine it's still another couple of weeks before we get anything on that. And just to finish off today, it's a story that you've probably already had a look at across different Celtic websites or in the Daily Record where the article was originally written, but I have been absolutely delighted to see the re-emergence of Adam Idah at Celtic. You know, back in amongst the goals, back looking his best. He's scored 3 over the past week, including one in the Champions League against Slovan Bratislava. Somebody who came into weird criticism at Celtic, and I've seen screenshots of tweets over the past few days in regards to Adam Idah and that very weird take of Celtic fans almost wanting him to fail because of the price tag on his head. And if you've been watching me throughout the entire summer, and especially around the time of his signing, you'll know how vocal I was in trying to get him signed. I really wanted him to become a Celtic player permanently, and I didn't really care at what that cost would take. I kept championing on the fact that, you know, it wasn't my money that was being spent on Adam Idah, and I thought that we just should have signed him for any cost necessary. But a lot of people wanting him to fail because of that price tag, a lot of people who have been waiting and putting all of his performances under a microscope thus far. Scored 2 at the weekend, scored the 1 against Slovan. He's looking back to his best. He had a good interview in the Daily Record talking about his start to life at Celtic. This was some of his comments. saying that he didn't do much in pre-season. Before anyone jumps on that, that wasn't me chucking it or anything. It was just how we trained down at Norwich. Obviously, it's just not as intense down there as it is here. We're at big clubs and we want on it. So yeah, when I first came in, I was probably a week behind, and now I'm getting the minutes and I'm starting to get goals. I feel good now, and I'm probably not far behind. I just need to keep sticking with it, and I'll get there. So fair play to Idah, who I'm surprised, the Norwich fans won't be happy with his comments. I'm surprised he's been so brutally honest about it, that the training hasn't been as good down there or as intense down there. It's not usually typical of players to kind of out their former clubs like that, but fair play to him, being pretty honest. And he did. I mean, listen, we seen him that day at St Mirren, didn't we? And he looked very, very sluggish. Didn't look sharp at all. He looked a yard off it, with everything he was doing. He had moments where he held up the ball well, or he had a good touch, but his finishing was off, his movement was off, in the terms of how quick he was getting to the ball. It just didn't look like the same Idah that it ended last season, so it makes it all very understandable that his pre-season was obviously lacking, and then that's obviously caught up with him. So it's nice to see him catching up with the rest of the squad now. It's nice to see him banging in goals, and the best is yet to come of Idah. I can't wait to watch him throughout the course of this season. He's got plenty of goals in the locker, and fair play to the people who've stuck by him, as we should have. Right then, that does it for today. As I said, a bit of a quiet day, so apologies there's nothing too interesting in today's video. Let me know what you want to see over the next few days in the comments section. But until then, thank you, God bless, take care, and I'll see you all next time. Shout out to everybody who has joined the 118 Club or the Thunder Club thus far. Thank you for your continued support here on Ryan 118, and enjoy your moment of glory here on screen.